Alright, so Ed asked me to do a demo video of how to run this Daktronics All Sport 5000 clock for a hockey game. I have no idea how this video is going to turn out, and it's been 6 or 7 months since I touched this clock, so let's hope everything goes well. If you're coming in to a new game, you're probably picking up the clock at the end of the last game. As you can see right now, the game time wound down to 0. Guests won 9-3. And even though you can't see it on this display here, up on the scoreboard, it was the end of the third period. So the first thing that you're going to do is set the clock to the period. Let's say it's 15 minutes. We're going to set main clock 15:00:00. So now it's 15:00. Enter, and you can see that the time is now set to 15 minutes. Next thing we're going to do is take down the goals, and on the guest side, this is the red. The home side is green, and they're labeled. Score +1, score -1. We're just going to keep knocking it down until we get to 0. We're going to do the same thing on the home side. 3, 2, 1, 0. And you can see now, the scoreboard reads 15 minutes, and the score is 0-0. Now on the clock, it still says period 3, and you're going to want to set that to period 1. Right in the middle, between the home and the guest side, are a couple of keys, and the period key is right in here. Unfortunately, it just goes up. So get that up to period 1. And we're ready to go. So this would be 15 minutes, period 1, score 0-0. But usually there's a warm-up period. So let's go through that again. First step is to set the main clock. And instead of 15 minutes, I'm going to do 0, 3, 0, 0, 0. And you can see it reads 3 minutes. Hit enter, and you've got it. Okay, so the clock is set, you're ready to run. Easiest thing to do is start and stop the clock. Big green button for start, big red button for stop. As soon as the puck drops, you hit the green button. You can see the clock winding down. You listen for the whistle hits, hit stop, clock stops immediately. Just keep winding it down. When it finally gets to 0, the horn will sound, and then you have to reset the clock for the, in this case, would be the start of the game, or the next period, whatever comes next. Okay, so now we need to set a penalty. As you can see, the clock is winding down. We're at 12:35. And winding down in the first period still, and you're listening for a whistle. The whistle goes, you hit stop. If you're keeping score and doing the clock, my strong suggestion is as soon as you hit stop on the clock, make a note of the time, because there's a lot of things that go on in the booth. Players are coming into the box, the ref's coming over to tell you what the penalty is, and I guarantee you, you're going to hit start and you're going to forget to write it down. So at this point, it's 12:26. In a 15-minute period, that means the penalty occurred at 2:34. I would just remember that, or just write that time down in the score sheet so you don't have to remember it. You could always go back and fill in the penalty and the number after that. So we stop the clock We did our score sheet if we're doing it. If you have a partner, that's the easiest thing in the world. Let them take care of the sheet. You're just worried about the clock. So, again, you've got the home side, the guest side. Let's say it's a home penalty. You hit the player penalty button. The first thing it's going to ask you is for a number. So let's say number 55 was called for hooking. Hit 55. The enter button is your friend. It's already defaulted to 2 minutes here in Hamden. Enter again. And now, up on the clock, and I'm going to remove the camera here. Doesn't show on the clock here. But as you can see on the scoreboard, it's showing 12:26, player 55 on the home team has a penalty of 2 minutes. So I'm going to put this back into the tripod and come back to what we do afterwards. Okay, so we're back. We've got the penalty up on the scoreboard. They're looking for the officials should be waiting for you to put the penalty up on the scoreboard. Make sure that you've got their attention. And what I will often do is talk to the refs before the game and let them know, hey, this is a new clock for me, or I'm only doing this for, my first or second time. Take it easy on me and make sure that I'm squared away. They're generally very understanding. All right, so we got the penalty up. It's 12:26. They drop the puck, and we start counting down. The easiest thing in the world is to have a standalone penalty that runs out. Because at that point, you just make sure that the player goes out on the ice when the time is up. If you can, make sure the door is completely closed, and you don't have to do anything else with the clock. But let's say the visitor in this case scored a goal. So we're going to stop it. There's 1:29 left of the penalty, and we want to clear the penalty. There's a button here, clear all penalties on the home team. Clear all, yes, no. Enter is yes, clear is no. We do that, and the scoreboard's back to being empty. Since the guest scored, we'll actually pump up the goal. The scoreboard now reads visitors 1, home 0. The time of the goal, in this case, was 3:05. When you're dealing with multiple penalties, you go through the same process. So the clock is running now. Oops, sorry, we hit stop. And we're going to put up a guest penalty. Number 17 defaults to 2 minutes. Enter. We now see a penalty up on the scoreboard. The puck drops. We're going to start the clock again. Clock's running for a bit. Lo and behold, there's another penalty. Let's say it's another penalty on the visitors. You go through the same process. Player penalty. This time it's number 68. Enter. 2 minutes. And now what you'll see, and I'm going to take the camera out again and show the scoreboard, is 2 penalties up on the scoreboard. So that first penalty for number 17 was 10 seconds in, and then they nailed somebody else 10 seconds later. All right, easiest thing in the world is just let the penalties expire. But if Hamden comes back, or in this case the Sharks, they score a goal, you hit stop, credit the home team with the goal. You could take the player penalty off, where you do that instead of clearing all penalties, just delete the penalty. and it'll automatically come up with the first penalty that was entered, because that would be the first player back on the ice after a power 5-on-3 goal. Enter, and now take my word for it, the scoreboard reflects just that second penalty. That's really about it for running the clock. So, quick run through. If you're going to set the clock again, hit set main clock, pump your time in until it reads the proper time, hit enter, adjust timers. In this case I had an existing penalty, and that's good to know if a penalty spans periods. You know, they got called at the end of the second and you're going into the third. You don't want to adjust the penalty. That'll keep it up there. And now you've got 15 minutes. Don't forget to adjust the period. We've got player penalty, the number. It'll default to the right time period, 2 minutes. Start and stop. It's really pretty straightforward. I hope this is helpful. If you've got any questions, ask Ed. Thanks.